Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre.
Welcome to episode 91 of the Childcare Genius podcast.
We're your hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre. And you're in for a treat today. We got a great guest coming in. But before we do, I want to let you know this episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. It's all services marketing. We can help you with your website. We can help you with Google Ads, social media marketing, you name it. We can help you on the marketing. We're very one-stop, all-in marketing service. Go to childcaregenius.com. Under the marketing tab, you can see how we can help you fill your school and get you fully staffed. So today's guest on the podcast is Blake Sanders. Blake works for ALEAF Childcare Insurance, and he is our insurance agent, has been for many years, and he's phenomenal. We've been with ALEAF for quite a long time, and we're very happy with them.
Yeah, we started with them because we realized the hard way that we didn't have the insurance we needed for a childcare center.
Yeah, for sure. And once we realized, you know what, you need a childcare specialist running your childcare insurance, not just your local agent who doesn't know anything about childcare, also insures the farm down the road and the car dealership, things like that. You want a specialist in car because you sure wouldn't go to a cardiologist to get your foot fixed or vice versa. So you want a specialist, and childcare specialists are important. So he's going to talk today a little bit about what's going on in the insurance industry, why certain types of insurance you need. And I think you'll like it. It's a great episode. And please pay attention because everybody needs insurance. I think you're going to find out his rates and the companies that represent are top notch. So let's get Blake on the line. Hi, Blake. Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast. How is Blake today?
Good. Finally got rid of the bad weather here in Texas, so everything's been good to go here.
Texas. Y'all run air conditioner already, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. We've had some warm days. No air conditioner. You're not going to be doing much sleeping here.
That's crazy. You're running air conditioning. We're still at 20s at night, so we're still running heat here. Beginning of May, we're still running heat. Crazy, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we wanted to get you back on. We've had you on the podcast a couple times before. We like to refresh. It's been about a year since we've had you on, and I know there's been a lot of changes to the insurance market. So we figured we'd have you back on, and we just had you at our Childcare Genius Live conference in Las Vegas. Did you have a good time?
Oh, it was a blast. I thought that was a really good conference, the way it was set up, the feedback I was hearing from a lot of the attendees. Everybody seemed to really enjoy it. So congratulations. Good job.
Thanks. We enjoyed it. Did you have fun?
Yeah, I did.
Really good time. And you were a good value to our clients. We appreciate you having you there. So can you tell us a little bit more about your role and what you do at ALEAF Childcare Insurance?
So I am the sales manager here at ALEAF Insurance. I just specialize in childcare. Historically, my role has been more on that sales side. The way the insurance is really changing and options that we have now in the childcare industry, I think my role is more changing to knowledge from a owner standpoint, an industry standpoint, and a teacher more than it really is that old school thought process of being an insurance agent. It's really a coach, a teacher, somebody that's just trying to educate our industry on how things are really changing. And I think that's more the role I've taken over the last few months, just trying to get everybody prepared and how to navigate the craziness that's coming.
That's awesome. How long you been there? Yeah, I mean, off and on. How long was the insurance industry? I mean,
I'd probably say 10, 11 years.
Wow, quite a long time.
Yeah,
a little while, but never seen anything like what we're seeing right now.
Definitely, especially in our industry. I heard that licensing violations can make your insurance rates increase and you can actually be dropped for extensive violations. Is that true?
It 100% is. So the old thought of, well, I've never had any losses, my rates are going to stay good, that's kind of out the window now. So the first step in any insurance company looking at whether or not to insure one of our schools is they're going straight to the licensing page and looking for deficiencies. This has been going on for a little bit, and the way it started, they were really looking for the high deficiencies. Now they've more broadened it out. Even the low ones, they're looking for frequency because they're trying to see if, okay, we come out, we cite these minor things. Are you taking care of them? Or next time they come out, we're citing you for the same thing, the same thing. So they're looking at it, okay, we feel like there may be a management issue and we can see a large claim coming. So now you don't even qualify to be insured with that company.
Wow, that's definitely changed a lot in the last couple of years for sure.
Yeah, because licensing violations didn't used to be online and now they are in every state, I think.
I'm sure they do their homework too. So we've recently got dropped by our insurance carrier, and many of our clients have as well, and that was through no fault of our own. So what's going on in the insurance market to cause all this?
You know, it's about as clear as mud, truthfully. So I've talked to a few insurance companies out there, the ones that have stayed, the ones that have gone. And with talking to them, some of them are telling me the exact opposite things. So that's where the is it clear? No, not to this point. So just to give a quick example, Philadelphia Insurance, they've been around in the childcare industry for years. They're taking the stance, nationally recognized franchises are what we're looking for moving forward. We're going to non-renew the rest. I know other carriers that have left the childcare industry and their loss ratio with nationally recognized franchises is what pushed them over the edge to have to leave the industry. So it seems like they're taking two separate stances. But our big issue now is insurance companies are leaving the marketplace, but no new ones are coming in to replace them. We've had them leave in the past. I've seen Philadelphia leave and come back. We've seen McKee try to leave select states. Now they've left the market in general. But in the past, as someone leaves, a new company comes in. So the childcare industry doesn't really feel that effect because there's still the same amount of options that they had this year over last year. Now, from a national standpoint, I think three real insurance companies most people have heard of is what we have left nationally. We still have a handful of companies that are out there regionally, but that would do most all states. That number is dwindling down very far. And one carrier to me helped make the most sense out of it. They had said it all started with COVID. I'm like, okay, well, explain to me that. There was really no claims that got caused in COVID. So how did this start in COVID? So each year, the insurance companies and the states talk to file their rates. So they were telling me with their company in particular, they went for 3 years and no rates were refiled. Well, if we really look at how the real estate from a construction cost, from materials, how it increased between the start of COVID to where we are today, and it was across the country, it increased substantially. But when the insurance companies in the states weren't communicating because most of our world was shut down, that small 5 to 10% increase that you normally see year over year, now whether it be for your homeowners or your renter's policy or your commercial policy. So I went back and looked at my own after they told me that. My homeowners really, and they were right, over that 2 to 3 year span, I kind of stayed flat. So they said, think about this. If we typically go up 5 to 10% each year, we didn't do it for 3 years. Now we're hitting you all at once at 30%. We haven't gone up for 3 years, but they were collecting a premium based upon the old, what would you say, $100 a square foot of construction cost. Now we're more of that $175 to $200 a square foot construction cost. So I think that's really what started it. And then states like Texas, I know you guys experienced a good storm not too long ago, but during that COVID deal, we've probably had two major freezes that were 8-9 figure losses across the board from construction side. And I know talking with one in particular since COVID, from a childcare standpoint, their loss ratio has been 140%, and property was a major cause of it. And I think the thought out there in our industry is it's the abuse and molestation is what the insurance companies are really scared of. The property damage is what's been causing them the most loss. So that's something I think is interesting to me.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Brian's been preaching for years on the importance of a few must-haves in the policies, but not everyone listens. Can you tell our listeners why EPLI and non-owned auto are a must-have in childcare policies?
Absolutely. So your EPLI, Employment Practices Liability. I can promise you, any of you out there that own a school, if you call your attorney because you're going to be sued, the first question he's going to ask you is, do you have employment practices liability? To me, I look at it from a leadership standpoint. It's my I've had a bad day policy. I think we have too many instances where we're scared to have the tough conversations with some of the employees due to how they would feel about it, and are they going to sue us? And I really think having this policy, and it's going to protect you from discrimination, whether it be race, religion, sex. And like I said, have a bad day, you come in, you ask me the same question you've asked me every day for the last 5 days, and I finally had enough, and if I pop off and say something maybe I shouldn't have, and you sue me, I have coverage. So I really feel from an owner, a director, assistant director, it allows you to have those tough conversations with employees without being in fear of being sued or getting in trouble for it. I know I have the coverage. I can have that conversation. The hired and non-owned side, I know our teachers, our staff, they're not driving their own personal vehicles all the time, but they do from time to time. We get in a situation where we need to errand run, go to the store, pick up XYZ. Having that hired and owned coverage, I know especially here in Texas, our state minimum limits of liability is $20,000. The chance you're going to have an accident and that vehicle that you're involved in an accident with costs more than $20,000 today is very high. So the hired and non-owned side, if you do send out one of your employees to make a run to the grocery store, to a Walmart, and they are involved in an accident, you do have a policy from the school that sits on top of theirs if you were brought into a lawsuit because they did get in an accident during company time. Very inexpensive coverage. I can tell everybody this because it's easy, it's quick. Progressive is the one company out there I know for sure that is very common in the childcare space for autos that do not offer hired and non-owned.
I know it's funny. It's every conference I go to, I have to talk about it again. They're like, why do you repeat the content? Because nobody listens. Like I tell them, you got to get this policy. Then when I go look through their stuff, you don't have this yet. I said, you're a problem waiting to happen. And it's a hidden blind spot amongst a lot of owners. That student accident policy as well is something that, everybody should have as well. There's so many things that are must-haves. But unless you have a really good agent that's on top of it, your agent's it's not going to automatically include it in there. You gotta be proactive, and you will do that. I know that. But if they have a different agent, they wouldn't be doing that.
Yep. And I think a lot of
so is there anything else our listeners should know about childcare insurance?
It's changing. The one thing that part of it that I guess almost scares me the most, what's changing is the $1 million for abuse and molestation is becoming a lot harder to acquire. Used to, that was very common practice. It was easy. With the way everything's changing, if you've got a claim, now you're being dropped. A lot of people now are fixing to start going into what's considered a surplus lines coverage. More than likely, that's just going to be an insurance company you have not heard of before. It's not going to be your Philadelphias, your Nationwides. So where that's really changing, the general liability is staying at the million. Be on top at looking at the sub limits. There are going to be situations where some of you will not be able to get $1 million in abuse coverage. So that's going to be, I think, the biggest, shocker to more of the veterans that have been around this industry for that 10, 15, 20 years. They've always had $1 million, and now things are going to start changing, and that will be a lot harder to do. I've seen so far, I'd say 80% of the insurance companies out there today have already started excluding abuse and molestation on the umbrella. So used to, we had the $1 million abuse and molestation, then we had $1 million umbrella on top of it. That's starting to disappear. And the only other thing I would look for nowadays, when we're making these transitions to surplus lines, you have what's called an occurrence form on how a claim would be considered, and a claims made form. There are going to be people out there that you're going to be put to a claims made form. What you really need to do is when you renew the following year, you need to be able to speak to your agent about having a tail policy. And if they don't know what that is, call me. That means you need to get away or you will not have coverage. So those are the biggest things I think people really need to look for this year. Don't freak out because it happens. It's not just you, it's happening to everyone. Just make sure that your agent understands how to keep you in place to keep going.
Is there anyone listening? If anyone listening would like a free quote on childcare insurance, how do they get a hold of you?
You can either shoot me an email or you can call me on my cell phone, whichever is easier. My cell phone number is 972-754-8595. And my email is it's simple. It's Blake@ALEAFinsurance.com. But
Perfect.
No hassle, free of charge, easy, whatever's easier for you.
And we will put your information in our show notes that you can click on below and reach. But we just want to thank you for your friendship. I know you've been really good to us, you and your owner, Junaid. He's a great guy, and you've been really good to us. Great agency to work with, highly recommend. It's the only company of all the companies that want to do business with us, you're the only one that I actually endorse. And we're proud to have a partnership with Childcare Genius and ALEAF Childcare Insurance.
We definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming on today. Try to stay cool down there in Texas, and we'll see you in Jamaica in a couple months.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
Take care. Thanks, Blake.
Uh-huh.
Good job.
Yeah.
He did good. I mean, it's kind of a dry subject. I mean, who wants to talk about insurance?
But every time he's on, we learn something else.
We do learn something new
Like
every
this time we learned why insurance in the childcare industry is changing so much.
It is. And the price is skyrocketing. Carriers are leaving the market.
Yeah.
And a lot of times state regulators have regulated people out of the industry.
Mhm.
I know in California, they've got so many rules on insurance companies. They're like, you know what? Bye. We'll leave the market. And you leave one or two left, and those one or two could just gouge prices, and prices are
Right.
skyrocketing in certain areas. And a lot has to do with the hurricanes, cost of hurricanes in Louisiana and Florida. Those rates are going up too, with the price of building and natural disasters.
Yeah.
And inflation has caused building to skyrocket. And 4 years ago, it wasn't like this. Insurance was cheap, building costs were cheap, interest rates were low, the economy was amazing. And a lot's changed in the last 4 years.
For sure.
So now we're stuck with paying high prices and leaving the market. And who knows, maybe it'll change in the future, but you got to play the
Right.
hand you're dealt. And if you've got to have insurance anyway, give Blake a call. Anyway, if we can help you in your childcare business, reach out to me and let me know. Go on our website. We offer a free coaching call with one of our certified coaches. If you're a center owner, we'd love to talk to you. Go to childcaregenius.com, and under the coaching tab, select like a free coaching call. And we will get on the call with you, either me or one of my certified coaches, and and we will have a conversation. We'll find out what areas we can help you with. There's no cost or obligation, and we'll give you the help you need to get you unstuck from your business and get going. So this concludes episode 91 of the Child Care Genius podcast. Thank you so much for welcoming you into your home or your car or wherever you're listening to us today. And
don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Child Care Genius podcast. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Child Care Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.